I'm Marna. This is the Dolls Rescue Channel, and today we're taking a look back at the 1960s and 70s, and I'm showing you my 1960s hippie doll, or my rendition of. I am doing a collab challenge contest with Tammy Powley at Peacecraft Dolls with Tammy Powley. The challenge is, the collab is, well, the contest, the whole mix, is to dress our dolls like the 1960s hippies. I was born in 1957. I was not a hippie in the 60s, but by the time the 70s got there, I was in on the trend. My brother, however, was 8 years older than myself, and he was in on it, and he and my dad, oh, I remember the knockdown, drag out fights, and he paved the way for me, let me tell you, my brother did. The 1960s were a different time. We were all spoiled brats, baby boomers, born to the greatest generation, and I mean that sincerely. If there was a problem with our parents, our grandparents' parents, it was taken care of. It wasn't just let go or just ignore it. It was addressed. And I like that, and I'm like that. In the 1960s, the music became psychedelic. The colors on everything became loud, mixed in with one another, and drugs ran thick. By the late 60s, most of us wore jean jackets, and they had a pipe in the pocket, and it really wasn't for tobacco. The music, there were so many types of music, but in the early 60s, it was more beatnik, which is a whole different group of hippies, the, what do you call it, precursor of the hippies. And the music was more like this. When the hippies came, it was more like this. And then by the time the 70s hit, it was more classic rock, which was, these are, believe it or not, my own, from my youth, albums. And if you look real close, it says Ed and Marna. And that would have been my 7th and 8th grade boyfriend, Ed Saxon, who went on to win awards for his work in Silence of the Lambs. He was incredible. Anyway, he was my first love, and I think he gave me this album. Oh, looky here. There's even more on the back. Marna and Eddie, July 21st, 1970, 18 weeks tomorrow. Well, that's how young girls think. We also have John Denver, who was more 70s, I don't know what that is. Rod Stewart, more 70s, loved him. New Riders of the Purple Sage, oh my God. This was Menzotti, I was supposed to get that back to them. I loved Poco. How many of you, leave it in the comment, even know who Poco is? Go into a... And then Bob Dylan. I went to a Bob Dylan concert in, must have been early 70s. And Billy Joel was the warm-up band, and he was booed off the stage. And before he left, he calmed everybody down and said, "My name is Billy Joel. Remember it, because you will rue the day that you booed me off the stage." And wow, look how true that is. Yes, I really liked Rod Stewart. I actually loved Rod Stewart and Cat Stevens. What's this one? The Worst of Jefferson Airplane and Tea for the Tillerman. Yeah, these were actually my albums. I could go on all day with stories from the 60s and especially the 70s. One more I'm going to tell, and then I want you to judge my dolls. My brother, as I said, he was very cool. My brother had glasses, and he had like the horn rim, Buddy Holly type glasses, and he went and got them changed. He went to the eye doctor, got new glasses, and he got wire rim, which was the thing in the 60s. And the funniest thing happened. My grandfather, who wore wire rim glasses forever, went to the eye doctor the same month and got the horn rim. It was hilarious. Our family laughed till our guts hurt about that. My dolls are dressed in the 1960s. These are late 60s hippie clothes. There were a lot of peasant dresses. Oh my goodness. I think peasant dresses were invented right after cloth fabrics. They have been worn through the ages, gathered in different spots. But in the 60s, the late 60s, they would have been worn with a macrame belt around the waist with nothing underneath and flowers in your hair. So that's what this doll has. Oh, and they would have been a loud or especially a flower print. I told you a little bit about the history of blue jeans when I was working on these, and I will say again that the flare was not enough, and the girls that could sew split their jeans up to the knee, which is where hers is, and added a triangle. Okay, for those of you that are analytical, it's not actually a triangle, but a triangle. And then added length with the same fabric at the bottom. No shoes on either of my dolls because you either wore bare feet or leather shoes. Thus, I lived in these. I think I got my first pair in 7th grade, and I've had these ever since. These are Minnetonka moccasins made by an actual Minnetonka tribe of Indian in Minnesota, and I have worn those forever. Of course, there were fringed boots were the thing in the mid 70s till now. I mean, really, who doesn't like fringed boots? And one thing, let me know if you had a pair of these. The Dr. Scholes Sandals. These are wood. I actually got these at a garage sales. These weren't mine, but I had them. They were wood shoes with, there's a, the wood is not texture, it's made to fit the foot. And what you had to do when you were walking on these, especially when your foot was sweaty, there was a ridge. This one doesn't, these are like newer ones. Ours had a larger ridge, and your toes actually gripped these when you were walking. When you pulled your foot up, your toes actually curled around there, which built up your calf muscles and took down your thigh fat. Wonderful shoes. I should be wearing them every day. That's my girls. I love them. I had a lot of fun with this, and this is how this works. Tammy and I are doing a contest. We're asking you to judge our doll clothes, our doll setup, our whole setup, 1 through 10, 10 being high. Do not be afraid to vote honestly, and do not be afraid to give us the same score. That's just fine. It's also a challenge today. With the hashtag on this video, you'll see it below in the description. Go look at everybody's 1960s hippie dolls. It's going to be fun because there's all kinds of, excuse me, different variations that I think you'll see today, and I can't wait to look at them all. So please vote for Tammy and I, and then please go watch the rest of the videos. I know that's where I'm headed right now. Thank you for watching the Dolls Rescue channel. Please leave a like, a comment, don't be too mean, peace man, and subscribe.